I'm like, then why the fuck are you not locking your door? He's like, because nobody breaks in anywhere. I'm like, well, clearly I did, shit fuck. And he's like, okay. So I had a request, a funny story from a time I was drunk. Now, fun fact, I may not be the biggest guy, but I have a tolerance that would make the Irish cry. So much so that I have a goal list, and I've completed most of it. I have outdrank in my time a Yakuza member, a Marine, an Army Ranger, a Navy boy, and an Air Force idiot. And the thing is I don't drink often. I just have one hell of a tolerance. And it's annoying as hell, because God, do I really want to get drunk sometimes. I'm a huggy drunk. I love talking and hugging when I get drunk. It's very nice. Now, one time though, for school during college, I had done a bit of an exchange program, and I went towards, I'm actually looking away from my mics. I need to look to my mic so the video quality is good. I had actually gone to Japan in order to do an exchange thing, get some extra credit and whatnot. It was a nice little bit, and I always wanted to go to Japan. It's just been a goal of mine. Now, at one point, when we go to Japan, one of the girls, it was her birthday, and she wanted to go out drinking because we were all legal drinking age in Japan, fun fact. So we go out to a karaoke place, and let me tell you guys, the Japanese do not fool around with their liquor. It is good shit. Even the beer itself is delicious. I don't even usually drink beer. I just go straight for the tequila. But the beer was actually really good there. So we go out to a karaoke place. And I've told everybody before, I have a tolerance that would make Zeus himself cry. Because it's just so great. It makes me cry. And we go out and they're like, we want to see how much you can drink. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So the night starts off at 6:30 p.m. We get to the karaoke place, and they skip the beers, and they go straight for hot sake. Now, hot sake is delicious. This is by far some of the best rice wine I have ever had in my existence. I have yet to find a good bottle here in the States, and oh my god, I weep every day that I get a bottle of sake, and it's not one, hot as tea, and two, as delicious as it was in Japan. So we get through it. I get through a whole little bottle that they got, and the rest of them are still working on their shots. I get through the whole bottle, and I'm like, I'm still doing good. I'm vibing. Let's go. I'm feeling good. I'm not even buzzed yet. I'm just feeling it, you know? And they're like, all right, we order some beers, a couple rounds of beers. They have some tequila, which is amazing because they want me, the person who is also part Mexican, to determine what is a good tequila. And boy, it was funny as hell when they were just like, Mexican, how good tequila? And I'm like, that's good tequila, and this shit, get it out of my sight. This is the best tequila. They had some good shit. So I'm enjoying it. I'm getting through the tequila, and they're also mixing the drinks and everything, and it's fun. They have some very crazy fruity drink combinations, but I go for a classic. After I get through the tequila, I start going through rum and coke. Now, it is a common thing that if I want to get drunk, I don't eat during the day, and I mix alcohols like crazy. I have what's called, in my personal recipe stash, the forbidden fruit, which is a mix of rum, whiskey, tequila, and a bunch of other concoctions, all put together with some fruity punch and a dash of lemon. It is so many different alcohols combined together that no sane man would ever drink this. But I am not a sane man. So we start going, and they're just like, you're mixing alcohols. That's so crazy. How do you do it? And I'm like, hey, don't worry. My liver is strong as steel, and it doesn't even need to be. So I'm drinking, having a good time. Some music comes on. I'm not a singer, but I decide they have some Eminem up there, and I used to be a ghetto trash boy, so I sing the Eminem song that comes up, Lose Yourself. It was a great time. They thought it was wonderful. We drink from 6:30 to 11 at night, straight. These guys are so fucking lost in the sauce, and I am just barely getting buzzed. And this is not me drinking slowly and eating. I've just been drinking. No water, no food, just Jack and Coke, tequila shot, Jack and Coke, half a bottle of sake, just back and forth. I don't even remember what water tastes like at this point. And they are losing their minds. The Japanese students that were with us were like, oh my God, storyteller. They use my real name, of course. Like, how you drink so much? And I'm like, hey, Irish and German. And they're like, does that work? I'm like, fuck if I know, it works here. So, we're enjoying it, having a good time. We're talking, we're bonding. They're learning a lot about the States. They're learning that Americans are very loud. I may have shouted a bit, which me talking to you right now, this is usually my normal volume. Except this is considered shouting as loud as you can in Japan. It was weird to have to talk differently. So, we're still drinking. We finally finish at 11 o'clock at night. And me, I'm just barely getting buzzed. And as they come out, birthday girl is lost. And she looks at me and she's just like, how are you not lost? And I'm like, bruh, I'm like halfway there. I'm like halfway up the stairway to heaven and I'm halfway down the tunnel, highway to hell style, you know? And she's just like, okay, I got a gift and I want you to enjoy it. Drunk boy. Yeah, drunk boy. Birthday girl is like, I have a gift and I want you to enjoy it. Me. She's like, I have a birthday gift. I want you to enjoy it. I'm like, what is the birthday gift? She pulls out a big, and I mean a big, bottle of honey Jack Daniels. Now, she looks at me. She looks at me. Yeah, I love it too. It's delicious. So she looks at me. I look at her. And our collective 2 brain cells form together a new galaxy of stupid. And I'm just like, yes? And she's like, yes? And I'm like, yes! So she gives it to me. Everybody takes a shot. And then they're just like, all right, storyteller, drink up. And I'm like, whole thing? And she's like, we vibing. And I'm like, we vibing. We're on the same wavelength. Mom says it's my turn to use the brain cell. And boy, is it gonna be in for a rough time. So, I grab the honey Jack Daniels. I look at him. Chug, 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 chug. Hand her the bottle. It's gone. It's so gone. It's so gone that I have entered the nth dimension. I don't know where the fuck I am. I don't know who the fuck these people are, but they are vibing with me really hard. They were my classmates. And so I just follow them wherever the fuck they want to go because God, let me tell you, it is so safe in Japan. It was so safe in Japan. I didn't even know that one of the college students we were drinking with, who later confided in us, that he's a very low-level Yakuza grunt. And we're like, okay, terrifying, but also that explains why literally nothing bad has happened this whole trip. Because he likes us and he doesn't want any trouble. So they're just like, yeah, no, I'm just studying and it's okay here. It's a safe area, just old people. And we're like, okay, cool, sounds dope. So I finish all this and I take my first step down on the street and I'm just like, the fuck am I? Those ain't my stars. This isn't my town. The fuck does that sign say? Why is there a chicken in an anime style? Where the fuck am I? Then I remember, oh yeah, I'm in Japan. And then so I'm following them and we get on a bus. And birthday girl's just like, yo. I'm like, what's up? And she's like, are we dead? I'm like, nah man, I'm in Kansas. And she's just like, we're in Kansas? I'm like, or China, I don't know. And the Japanese student's like, no, you're in Japan. I'm like, we're in Japan? He's like, yeah, you're in Japan. I'm like, that's fucking great. I want to meet Miku. He's like, who's Miku? I'm like, Hatsune Miku, dude. He's like, oh, no, not here. She not here. And I'm like, damn, that sucked. I want to go back to my room now. And he's like, yeah, you go back and sleep. I'm like, no, I want to go watch Star Wars. And he's like, Star Wars? I'm like, yeah, I want to go back and watch Star Wars. And then birthday girl's like, yo, I know what you need for Star Wars. I'm like, what do I need for Star Wars? She produces tiny little shot bottles. And it's just like, you need these. I can't feel my fingers. You need these. And I'm like, what is it? And she's like, happy. And I'm like, this is happy? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I feel so blessed. I feel happy. And she's like, no, you have to drink the happy. I'm like, does that mean I'm not happy? And she's like, are you? I'm like, dude, I'm hungry. And she's like, then drink and be happy. So I go through the shot bottles, bit by bit. And one of the other guys pulls out another thing of Jack Daniels, not full, it's about half empty. And we start drinking it on the bus all the way back. I follow them to their dorm room because they're just like, come drink with us, come have a good time. I'm like, yeah. I've had so much to drink now because I also didn't eat during the day because I knew we were gonna go for a party. I've had so much to drink now, so much more than any normal person should have. And I'm just like, this is it. I finally get to see for the first time in my life what blackout drunk me looks like. But I don't like to get blackout drunk. I like to get as close as possible, but I like remaining in control. That's just me. So I follow them. We get through another 2 hours until it is like 2 in the morning of just drinking through this Jack Daniels. I get up. I'm like wobbling all over the place, and I'm just like, freeze. I hold my head, and I'm like, freeze. Focus on target. Stay on target, Luke. Stay on target. Hit the Death Star. Go. I take one step forward, slam my head into the door of the dorm, and they're just like, are you good? And I'm like, peachy. So I open the door, I lean forward, I stumble forward, grab the wall. I'm just like, whew, okay. I need to get across campus now. This is gonna be my mission impossible. This is my villain origin story. This is where it starts. I get lost in the trash and become Trash Panda Man. This is it. I can do this. I look down the hall. It is going forever. I'm just like, I can do this. I can do this.
I feel that.
I get to the elevator. I look at the button and I'm like, I get my face right up in the elevator. I'm just like, poke. Is that the right button? I'm like, why is it not glowing? I hit it again. I'm like, oh, wrong button. 1. Wait, why is this not working? And the guy that was next to me was like, that's not a 1. I'm like, what is it? And he's like, that's the up arrow. I'm like, oh, I need to go down. So I hit the down button, finally, with his help. I get in the elevator, I go down, and I step outside. And as soon as I step outside, I realize that being in South Japan does not necessarily mean that South Japan is warm. Because I came from an area that's really, really warm. I step outside, and let me tell you, being lost in the sauce and getting hit with a wave of cold air when you are formerly from middle of boiling nowhere is not the most comfortable thing. I get hit with cold air, stumble back and nearly fall down. I'm just like, foot forward, arms outstretched. And I'm just like, I am Superman. I'm gonna fly. I step forward, I step up on a ledge, and I fall forward. I don't hit the ground. My foot hits the ground on the road. I stumble, and I'm just like, 10. I'm like, okay. I'm on the road. I look at my watch. I'm like, it is 2:33 a.m. I need to be up for classes in 4 hours. I can do this. I can do this. So I step forward. Stepping forward. I'm like the crocodile hunter in a new and untamed wilderness. I am crocodile hunter in New Jersey, and I am going to navigate the concrete jungle. I'm stepping forward. It gets to a point where I fall down on all fours, hands and knees, and I start crawling my ass forward. I crawl across the road. My hand touches mud, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not about that. So I stand up, I look around, I look up at this building in front of me, I'm like, that's not my building. I went the wrong way on campus. So I have to turn around, and I'm like, that way. No, that way. No, that. And the student finds me, and she's like, are you, like, she talks in Japanese, and I'm just like, oh, no speako de Japaneso. And she's like, English? And I'm like, English. And she's like, oh, England. And I'm like, American? And she's like, oh, like disappointed. And I'm like, yeah, me too. How do I get to building so-and-so? And she's like, chotomate, and is like, gets out a phone, types in what I said, and it's like, oh, and then guides me. She's like, that way. I'm like, oh, gracias. No. Go menasai. Something. Thank you. And she's like, go sleep. And I'm like, I sleep. So I managed to get all the way across campus once again, waddling my ass over there. I get to my building. It is 3 in the morning. I get inside. It's so warm in my building. I get inside. I look left and I'm like, no, I don't go down there. I look right and I'm like, I go down there. So I go right. I start going down the hall and then I stop. I look to my right and the commissary's still open. To those of you that don't know what that is, it's the place where you go and buy snacks. So I go in there and I spend $50 on snacks. I get Cheetos, I get cookies, I get drinks. Here's a fun fact. The Japanese hate Dr. Pepper because to them it tastes like medicine. So they have a fridge full of Dr. Pepper.
Oh.
I fucking love Dr. Pepper. So I spent $38 on Dr. Pepper and $12 on snacks. I don't have a bag with me. The nice lady working the stand does not have a bag with me. What do? Put all of it in my shirt. Parts in my jacket, snacks in my pockets. Let me tell you, cargo pants are not overrated. They are underrated as hell. Wear cargo pants. Cargo pants are great. I fit all my snacks and everything in my cargo pants. And I waddle back I'm just like, hey, here I go. I get to the elevator. I hit the button to go up. This time I don't fuck up. I get in the elevator. I go up and up. The door opens behind me. And I'm just looking at the mirror at myself. I'm like, I walk forward and hit my head on the mirror. And I'm just like, wait, that's not where I go. Turn around. I'm just like, oh, I go that way. So I waddle out. And I stand there. I just stand there for a minute. And I'm like, huh. Whew. What room was I in again? So I look around, left, right, left again, like a turtle trying to determine whether or not it's going to cross the road tonight. And finally I go left. I grab the doorknob. I open what I think is my doorknob. I open it. I open the door, and some dude is just looking at me. I'm like, is this not my room? And he's like, he's like, what are you doing here? Like, this was another student from America, but it's not one of mine. It's a different school. He's like, what are you doing here? Like, this is my room. And I'm like, is this not my room? And he's like, no. I'm like, then why the fuck are you not locking your door? He's like, because nobody breaks in anywhere. I'm like, well, clearly I did, shit fuck. And he's like, okay. I'm like, I'm sorry. Good night. Have a good day. Close the door. Go down one door. I look at the number, and I'm like, 3, 2, 3. No, that's not right. Next door. 3, 2, 5. The fuck? I turn around behind me. 3, 2, 4, and I'm like, where the fuck am I? I'm on the wrong goddamn floor. So I have to go back to the elevator, go up one more floor, go down the hall, I open the door, and I'm just like, is it my room? I look inside, there's nothing in this room, and I'm like, this is not my room. Close the door, step to the side one more time, open the door, I see my laptop, and I'm just like, laptop! I walk in, close the door behind me, I'm like, you know what's a good idea? I need to tell my mom I love her. So I break out my phone, and I got 30 missed messages from this woman because I told her I was gonna go out drinking, and she didn't like that because I was 19 and she's a lawyer. So if I piss off Japanese law, she can't do shit, and she knows she can't do shit. So I look at my phone and I'm just like, all right, okay, I can do this. Siri's like, do you need help writing the message? Like, no. I got this. I have written a book before. I got this. No, wait, that's not how you say hello. Backspace. H-I. Is hi too informal? No, backspace. Hello, Mom. No, that's a Q. Backspace. I am okay. Okay, I don't know where A and Y is, so O and K is gonna have to be by itself. Okay. Space. Okay. Got back to dorm. Going to bed. Am okay. Don't worry. I look it over, I'm like, okay. That looks, one eye blinks, one eye opens. I'm like, that looks plausible. I look to my laptop and I'm like, that looks plausible, right? Wait, why the fuck am I talking to you? Okay. I am okay. Back at dorm. Love you lots. In perfect English. No spelling mistakes. I'm like, that way she knows I'm okay. Send. She's typing. I'm like, oh no. She's like, did you go out and fucking drink? I'm like, no. I'm back in dorm. I'm okay. Don't worry. Send me a picture of yourself. I love you. Please don't disown me. I turn off my phone, I fall in bed, I go to sleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. I wake up the next morning to 20 missed calls, 35 text messages. And when I call her, my hangover had nothing on the sheer headache that was the talking to I received after that. But she was just thankful I was okay. But by God, was it worth it? Damn fucking straight it was. Mom, when you see this video, I love you. Please don't ground me. I know I'm a grown-ass man, but please don't ground me. But that was by far the most drunk I have ever been. And it was in a foreign country where I had no idea where the hell I am. And I got lost on campus multiple times. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Nice.
As my wife said in the background, I'm a cuddly drunk. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
YouTube. This is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. This will be the first story on YouTube. Hey there, and thanks for watching. I really'd appreciate it if you could like the video and maybe even subscribe if you enjoyed yourself. This whole thing is kind of part of a new project I want to do with the channel where I go throughout VR chat, telling stories and maybe even collecting a few. The world is a bit of a hectic place right now, so I'm hoping maybe by sharing stories and everything, we can all laugh and maybe get a sense of wonder through everything. Stories have kept people entertained for generations, and I just want to share a couple of them and maybe even create a few new ones. If you've enjoyed the video, I'm really glad, and if you have any feedback, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm always looking to improve because I know I'm not perfect at this. For those of you that want to join and see these stories live, I am going to be getting on VR chat every Friday from 2 p.m. CST to 5 p.m. CST in order to tell stories, collect them. Might go a little longer, maybe a little less. It depends entirely what happens. But in the future, I might also try to stream this. We'll see what happens because I really want to try to work with a larger audience and really just kind of make everybody laugh and have a good time. So, thanks again for watching this vid. I hope you had a wonderful time. Bye-bye.